Hello and welcome to MBC News. You are with me, Evelis Chingambe. Our top stories. President Mutharika clocks 100 days in office with fertilizer, food, fuel and forex availability being among his notable achievements. Government held for successively relocating selected statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises back to Blantyre and Zomba cities. And in sports, Nyasa Big Bullets to face Ndirande Stars in the round of 16 of the Castell Challenge Cup. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika won the September 16 election by positioning himself as a leader capable of addressing numerous challenges that rocked the country. President Mutharika singled out 4 Fs, namely fertilizer, fuel, food and forex, as key priority areas that needed his immediate attention. As President Mutharika clocks 100 days in office, our reporter Jisomo Break examines how the president has dealt with one of the key concerns that farmers across the country faced, the scarcity of fertilizer.
In 2025, Malawians made a decision to usher back into power Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the Democratic Progressive.
Madaliso Kasanga, 54, from Cholo, is a happy man after successfully planting maize and groundnuts on his farm. Kasanga nearly stopped farming following a sharp rise in the price of fertilizer and seeds on the local market last October.
It was painful to us because we knew that we could not afford the high price of fertilizer.
Kasanga is among the smallholder farmers in Malawi who stepped into the 2025-2026 farming season with a sense of hopelessness and uncertainty. With the onset of the rainy season, their nervousness about accessing fertilizer, the crucial input for their farming, grew thicker, as explained by one Judith Wemba from Chilazuru.
We were very worried because we did not know where the fertilizer would come from. Fertilizer was very expensive. We could not manage to afford the fertilizer at 145,000 wash.
In Sanje-based farmer, not only the rising cost of the fertilizer induced panic, but also its unavailability on the market was a thorn in the flesh of several farmers.
We were very much concerned about high prices and scarcity of fertilizer.
According to the Fertilizer Association of Malawi, by September last year, fertilizer suppliers had yet to stock their warehouses and had low volumes. At the heart of these uncertainties were revelations that the country had only 284,659 metric tons, far below the minimum annual requirement of 450,000 metric tons. As if these worries were not enough, the future of the government's subsidized farm input program remained uncertain. This was the case due to the 16th September election, as farmers remained unsure about who would form the next government. No wonder, on 4th October, the day he was sworn in, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika had urgent issues on his desk to address. Top amongst them was the rising fertilizer prices and their unavailability on the local market due to foreign currency limitations. Despite being in government for less than a month, President Mutharika allayed fertilizer scarcity fears when he announced the reintroduction of the Farm Input Subsidy Program during the national address in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my administration will reintroduce Farm Input Subsidy Program first this farming season, which will be launched in the second week of November 2025. This program will benefit 1.1 million households, each accessing 2 50 kg bags plus a 5 kg pack of seed of their choice. The beneficiaries will be paying only 10,000 a bag of fertilizer.
According to the Minister of Agriculture, Rosa Mbirizi, 46% of the targeted farmers have redeemed their input under FISIP.
As we are here, we have fertilizer being delivered in all districts of this country. We are now hovering around 46%, and we hope to reach a substantial amount of number of people, I should say, in the next 2 weeks.
It is common knowledge now that the subsidized fertilizer program has met the expectations of farmers as they hope to enhance agricultural productivity, leading to a reduction in food costs. MBC's visit to various districts across the country was greeted with elated faces of farmers. Farmers have described the issuance of subsidized fertilizer and other agricultural inputs as a lifeline that will significantly improve yields.
We are delighted and thankful, and we ask the President to continue with the program. We cannot lie that we did not access fertilizer. We are grateful to our President. When we heard that the President has reduced the price, we were happy, and we knew that we were going to access it.
The President's long-term plan is to scale down fertilizer imports and encourage local production to shield farmers from volatile global prices. As President Arthur Peter Mutharika marks 100 days in office, the testimonies from the local farmers suggest that his administration's approach to the availability of fertilizer is off to a good start and that the ship is sailing in the right direction. This was a promise made, and it is being delivered bit by bit. Chisomo Break, MBC News, Blantyre.
In this report, Main Tumotsi is analyzing the journey the President has travelled in dealing with the problem of shortage of forex.
At the time President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika took over the reins of power as Malawi's 7th president, the nation was in a deep economic crisis. Between the year 2021 and 2024, inflation rate averaged 25% and increased to 34.2% in the first 3 months of the year 2025. The policy rate was standing at 26% from 12% in 2020. The country's official forex reserves were at their lowest in 10 years. Prices of goods and services were skyrocketing, fuel queues were piling as reserves ran dry. The number of people facing acute hunger kept growing, and the economic environment had negatively affected businesses, and this led to many leading firms laying off workers and even stopping investing in new capacity. Exports almost stopped, and the country was in dire need of foreign exchange. One of the key strategies for President Mutharika's economic plan was first to appoint a lean cabinet and later introduce austerity measures on 6th November 2025. According to Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization, Joseph Mwanamveka, external travel by public officers had to be reduced forthwith in order to control the drain of foreign exchange reserves.
The President wants to make sure that we need to restore this economy. We want to see stability. We want to see economic growth. That's why we've seen those measures.
Fast forward to January 2026, the situation has changed for the better at least.
Economic growth remains modest, with real GDP growth slightly revised downwards to 2.7% in November 2025 from an earlier projection of 2.8%. The medium-term outlook remains cautiously positive, with GDP growth projected to strengthen to 3.8% in 2026 and 4.9% in 2027, supported by targeted investment and policy reforms under the National Economic Recovery Plan. Annual inflation averaged 32.3%, currently is at 28.5%, and is likely to move to 20.7% in 2026.
People are now able to get forex at the banks.
In just 3 months since I assumed office, signs of recovery are already visible. Inflation is declining, meaning your savings are safer and secure today than they were few months ago. Fuel shortages are easing. Power outages are shortening.
Companies which were about to close due to lack of forex now have their confidence back. For instance, Chimwemwe Josiah, who is managing director for Renaissance Seeds, a local seed manufacturing company, says his company has managed to import raw materials and distribute seeds in time to farmers due to availability of forex and fuel.
We are able to timely distribute the seed to our customers because when you go to the filling station, fuel has been there. And additionally, you may recall that we also use a lot of chemicals that we are importing from outside the country to manufacture our seed. And because of these austerity measures, we are able to request for forex and import our chemicals. So in a nutshell, I would say the leadership of Professor Peter Mutharika within the first 100 days has created an enabling environment as a local seed manufacturer to reach out to our farmers.
The manifesto of the ruling DPP government says it will implement serious fiscal consolidation measures that will make the country save around 500 billion kwacha in 2026, 700 billion kwacha in 2027, and 1.5 trillion kwacha per year from 2028 to 2030. Specifically, apart from a lean and inclusive cabinet and stopping the purchase of new vehicles for public officers, government will implement strict commitment controls under the Integrated Financial Management Information System (IFMIS) to contain creation of arrears and eliminate guarantees by ministries, departments and agencies. Mwaimtumodzi, MBC, Lilongwe.
Improved fuel availability also stands out as a key achievement in the 100 days, with Minister of Energy Jean Matanga saying the development has brought about a huge relief to motorists, transport operators, farmers and small-scale businesses that struggled with the fuel shortages. A snap survey by MBC has revealed that persistent queues are now slowly vanishing and fuel is generally available. George Mkandawire reports.
Malawians are breathing a sigh of relief as fuel availability improves 100 days into President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's administration. The president had promised to tackle fuel, fertilizer, food and foreign currency challenges upon taking office on October 4, 2025. Government officials attribute the improvement to key policy actions, including strengthened engagement with fuel importers and improved coordination with regulatory bodies. Minister of Energy Jean Matanga, in her ministerial statement last year, said the administration prioritized fuel availability due to its impact on the economy. Among others, he revealed that Malawi will revert to open tender procurement system to enhance transparency, with security forces deployed to curb hoarding and smuggling. In major cities and district centers, filling stations are operating more consistently with reduced queues. Public transport operators say the improvement has stabilized fares and reduced operational uncertainties. Kondwani Kalua, a taxi driver in Kalonga, said now they are happy that things have improved.
Wayamba bajati makhala 3 days or 4 days by filling station koma kubwera popanda kumwa mafuta.
Before, we could spend hours or even days without fuel. Now, even if there are occasional delays, fuel is generally available.
The fishing industry is also benefiting, with fishermen able to reach productive areas.
We used to buy fuels at exorbitant prices, 20,000 per liter, 15,000 per liter. To us, it was a big challenge.
At Songwe border, truck drivers say they can now rest. Off-roading and returning to Tanzania was a big challenge. Emmanuel Chitungu, a truck driver, welcomes the change.
Ndio ukamefika so filling station kuna beso kutopita ukasise ku depot ni pa filling station straight.
As a truck driver, I can now rest like for 2 weeks without going back to Tanzania because the situation has normalized.
Ndikudikirira mwina 1 week kapena so kumatamangira 2 weeks usana tsitse chifukwa choti malo sitsira akuchita kusowa.
Fuel availability is also supporting agricultural activities, easing operations for farmers and transporters. George Kandawire, MBC, Karonga.
In the eastern region, local leaders and community members have described the 100 days of President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika in office as worth celebrating, saying the Malawi leader has achieved remarkable success in food security. In a random interview with MBC, most people described President Mutharika's 100 days as a journey of good leadership, vision and commitment to progress. From Mangochi, Owen Mavola and Geoffrey Chinawa have compiled this report.
In 2025, Malawians made a decision to usher back into power Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the Democratic Progressive Party DPP through ballot on 16 September. For many of those who cast their vote, the decision was largely driven by the party's manifesto, which hinged on a number of key areas, including food and agriculture, to ensure that every household is food secure. After assuming power, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika repeatedly assured the nation that no one will die of hunger. And as he marks 100 days in office, communities and opinion leaders are describing the journey as a success in areas of food, fertilizer, and fuel availability. Maize vendors, for instance, say unlike in the past, there is steady flow of maize in Admark depots and other markets where people are able to access and afford the staple food in abundance. James Boa, a maize vendor who plies his trade at Chiponde border post and Mangochi Central Market, has some kind words for the new administration.
Bwana Chibwerere wa President Arthur Peter Mutharika pano zinthu zili bwino kwambiri.
It's no secret that things are now better following the return of President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. In the past, we used to struggle to find maize to sell on the market, and when we found it, a lot of people could not afford to buy it.
Yusuf Wisiki, a resident of Malombe who had just bought 3 bags of maize, recalls how once essential commodities like food became scarce in the past 5 years.
Chigoba mbuyo mutimagula awe almost 10,000. Koma pakadali pano pa chigoba tikuchigula pa 6,000.
In these 100 days, we have seen a drop in prices of maize and other basic needs. As you can see, I've just purchased 3 bags of maize weighing 50 kilograms each.
Tumba lili magula 100,000. Koma panopa ndi 60,000 tanyamula tumba.
For sub-traditional authority Mpinganjira, living in close proximity to his subjects who used to struggle to access food was a nightmare. But now the chief says he can afford a smile.
Unlike in the past when food was scarce and unaffordable, these days my subjects are not finding it hard to access maize.
In a separate interview with MBC, Minister of Agriculture Rosa Fachimbirizi assured people in the country that government has put in place measures to further stabilize the food situation.
During the same time last year, in December, maize was at over 100,000 kwacha per 50 kg bag. But this time around, maize is about 55,000, even 50,000 in other areas. So we have achieved a lot in terms of food security. So I really would like to commend and applaud the President for a job very well done.
Food availability and stable prices is presented in Democratic Progressive Party DPP manifesto as part of a broader plan to stabilize the economy and improve living standards of Malawians at all levels. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
This is MBC News and you are with me, Evidence Chingambi. A reminder of the top stories.
President Mutharika clocks 100 days in office with fertilizer, food, fuel, and forex availability being among his notable achievements. Government held for successively relocating selected statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises back to Blantyre and Zomba cities. And in sports, Nyasa Big Bullets to face Ndirande Stars in the round of 16 of the Castell Challenge Cup.
Welcome back. Still on the President's 100 days in office, President Mutharika also relocated selected statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises from Lilongwe back to Blantyre and Zomba cities. Good governance experts backed the decision, saying it will help in reviving the economy. Charles Jindongo has more in this report, being read by Telson Magombo.
3 months ago, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika ordered the relocation of Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, the Malawi Housing Corporation, MHC, the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, and the Malawi Prison Service, MPS, back to Blantyre and Zomba respectively. MBC established that most of them have complied with the executive order. For instance, authorities at MPS confirmed the development, adding that they are expecting to complete the process soon. Thomas Damba is the Deputy Commissioner of Prisons in the country.
To us, we are happy because headquarters was supposed to be near or closer to the maximum prison or Zomba Central Prison.
Limbani Sapato is MACRA's head of corporate communication and had this to say.
Yes, we are finally in Blantyre. We fully relocated on the 12th of December 2025. So we are now almost a month in Blantyre. Yes, it's good to be here. You may recall that in Lilongwe we're spread in 5 different locations, and in terms of office operations, team cohesion, it was a challenge. But these new offices are able to accommodate all of us in one place, and it's great. It's good for teamwork. It's also good for efficiency in operations.
Weighing on the matter, good governance expert Wanda Funkuche praised President Professor Mutharika for moving in quickly to relocate selected government institutions and state-owned enterprises.
For some of the government offices moving back to Blantyre, it is a good decision by the government because this is what was promised during the campaign period. Some people in Blantyre were complaining that Blantyre has been robbed of some of the offices, and it has contributed to even how the economy of the city was working. So, knowing that the decision has finally been taken by the president, this is what the people wanted when they voted for him. So we can conclude to say it is a good decision based on those factors.
According to Nkuche, the move will help to revise the economy in other regions of the country. Social commentator Emmanuel Manyongo believes the decision is timely and cost-effective, as some of the companies and organizations were operating in rented premises.
When these institutions were being moved to Lilongwe, government incurred significant and unnecessary expenditure on office rentals, utilities, and logistical costs. And this was happening despite the fact that these same institutions already have purpose-built office infrastructure in Blantyre and Zomba. For instance, MACRA alone was renting more than 5 office spaces in Lilongwe. Yet MACRA already has more than 2 functional office spaces in Blantyre. By relocating them back, government is cutting recurrent costs, improving value for money, and redirecting scarce public resources to essential services that will benefit Malawian citizens.
In his tenure, Malawi's 6th President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, moved Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, the Malawi Housing Corporation, MHC, the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, and the Malawi Prison Service, MPS, to the capital, Lilongwe. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika believed that moving all ministries, departments, and agencies, head offices to Lilongwe was an economic sanction against the southern region.
The Democratic Progressive Party DPP Vice President for the Southern Region, Joseph Mwanamveka, says President Mutharika's administration is working hard to address economic challenges the country is facing. Mwanamveka, who is also Minister of Finance, said this during a thank you rally at Nswazi Community Ground at Limboli in Mulanje. Simeon Shumba has filed this report, being read by George Panda.
Thousands of people gathered at Nswazi Community Ground in Limbuli, Mulanje to hear the message of goodwill from the DPP Vice President for the South, Joseph Mwanamveka. In his speech, Mwanamveka told the gathering that President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's administration has already put measures of addressing economic challenges the country is facing. He said that in 100 days, Professor Mutharika has already made some strides in economic recovery, among them reduction of prices of maize, cement, and some basic needs.
I was here to thank the people of Limboli for electing our president and for the party. Secondly, I was also coming here to assure the people of Limboli that the developments that Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika had promised, they will be delivered. Whatever was in it is in the manifesto. He will make sure that he will deliver what he promised and he will do what he promised. And lastly, it was also to bring unity to the party in Mulanje Limboli.
The DPP Vice President for the South was accompanied by DPP Regional Governor for the South, Charles Mchacha, members of Parliament, and senior party officials.
And now in sports, FCB Nyasa Big Bullets and Goshen City Data Dynamos are through to the last 16 of the Castel Challenge Cup after winning their respective matches on Sunday, both away from home. Bullets walloped Songwe United by 3-0 at Karonga Stadium, with striker Maxwell Polo scoring all goals. Dynamos knocked out Craig Sporting Club by 3-1 at Opre Limba Stadium in Mchinji. Bullets will face Ndirande Stars in the round of 16, while Dynamos will play against Karonga United. The last two matches in the round of 32 will be played on Thursday this week to complete the lineup in the round of 16. The Castel Challenge Cup is the last tournament for the 2025-2026 football season and is expected to be concluded in February. On a sad note, the body of former First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Madalitso Kasombo, has been laid to rest in his home village, Damblesi, in the area of Senior Chief Kaumba in Kasungu. In their eulogies, different speakers described his death as a big loss to the nation. Austin Fogola reports.
People from all walks of life, politicians, the clergy, traditional leaders, among others, paid their last respects to the former First Deputy Speaker. Many who spoke at the burial ceremony described Madalitso Kasombo as a jovial, humble, friendly, peacemaker, among other attributes. In his eulogy, Speaker of National Assembly, Samia Suleiman, said the departed Deputy Speaker was an advocate of unity whenever there were disagreements between the ruling members of Parliament and the opposition in the August House. A representative of the bereaved family, who is an uncle to the deceased, Elisha Ngalande, said they have lost a pillar, peace advocate, and someone who had the interest of others at heart.
We will dearly miss him as a family because he was a pillar to the family. He held us together. As I mentioned in my speech, there are several families from which he came from from Chayamba, Mponongo, Mpepo, Ntandaza, Chiwengo, the Shendawaka family, and the families from Nchisi. He was the unifying factor. Most of the time, it was him traveling to all these places whenever there is need. So, again, he was a role model to most members of the family.
Born in 1979, Madalitso Kasombo died last Thursday when he collapsed due to asthma. He joined politics in 2014 after working for Press Corporation. Between 2019 and 2015, he served as the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament. Kazombo is survived by a wife and 3 children. Austin Fukula, MBC News, Kasungu.
May his soul rest in peace. And that's it from our newsroom this morning. A recap of our top stories before we leave.
President Mutharika clocks 100 days in office with fertilizer, food, fuel and forex availability being among his notable achievements. Government held for successively relocating selected statutory corporations and state-owned enterprises back to Blantyre and Zomba cities. And in sports, Nyasa Big Bullets to face Ndirande Stars in the round of 16 of the Castell Challenge Cup.
Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Evelis Janabe. Thanks for watching and good morning.
Sabara ino mu program ya Woman Talk. Kuli mwambi umene manena kuti mawu amalenga. Kodi ifeyo ngati anthu timachita bwanji? Tikapsha mtima